Chris. I'm the Algo Man, guys, here on TikTok, and welcome to today's live stream. So I'm really happy to have everyone here today, and today we're actually going to double down on structure and precision. I'm going to go live with PredictMO, CYMO, both on the 5-minute for chart clarity and on the 1-minute chart to refine execution. So if you caught Thursday's session, you'll remember our nifty region Y threshold technique that I shared with you. Well, we're bringing it back to visualize the chop so you can stay patient when the market's cycling, okay? So here in the charts, okay, we've got our dynamic VWAP up here, that kind of lets us know whether the market is cycling or trending. We've got PredictMO here for detecting our directional slope shifts, okay? And we definitely have our region Y threshold, which is really all this is, guys. It's a hand-drawn box designed to highlight tight cyclic zones. In other words, areas to avoid unless structure forms, okay? And then over on the 1-minute chart that's right underneath this, we've got CYMO, which is designed to sharpen executable signals by timing the cycles and capturing tight swings. And we've also got PredictMO over there, synced with the 5-minute to kind of give us high probability entries. Okay, so we're going to roll this out live from the open all the way through noon, crisp, focused, and informative. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy going right here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bingo, here we go. First bar of the day, we're not going to do anything here. We're going to let at least another bar pass by and get directional cues from PredictMO here on the 5-minute, and then decide whether we want to take that on the 1-minute chart, okay? So this might roll just a little bit slower here because I've got it set at 4 times the speed of the market, so it's not going to be as fast, but it is faster on the 1-minute, okay? So this is already at 9:32, so just give it a few more seconds, and it'll flip to 9:35. We'll get the second candle, and then we'll see if there's any movement down here that'll warrant any particular trade on the 1-minute time frame. So if you see this, guys, and all of a sudden, the second bar of the day, you see PredictMO pop up, you see the price line, which is represented by the green line, pop up. This is cause for pause and reflection for you guys to go ahead and kind of look over here and see if there's actually anything here. Now, there is, but at this phase, it appears to me that you probably would be late to the trade if you took this right here. There's probably a little bit left here in this move. It didn't capture it that quick because remember on the 5-minute, it's going to compress 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these bars, okay? So this here is the first bar of the opening session right here. And you can tell that this was a trade to the upside. You had cycle 1, you had cycle 2 ending right here, and you have this bad boy, which is still above the 0 line. I'm talking about the orange line here. That's what I'm speaking about, the orange line, still above the 0 line. But look at what's happening with price, okay? When you look at the green line, it's already coming off the exhaustion zone right there. That in itself is telling you that there might not be a lot left of this trade to the upside. So if I go ahead and play this right here, this will actually move faster because it's on the 1-minute time frame here. Okay, you're just about to hit the inflection point right here with price, okay? Which is when this green line hits the top of your 0.43 threshold. That right there, this right here, guys, would be the exit to this trade to the upside if you had jumped into this trade right at the outset of the session right here on the 1-minute time frame, okay? This would be your exit right there. That's it. You got cycle 1, cycle 2. It looks like you're getting a third cycle. Now, I've got CYMO set to 5, okay? A setting of 5 is going to capture a lot of the cyclic swing in price, especially on the 1-minute. And that's going to be a highlight of what I'm going to focus on today as well, okay? I'm going to show you how to capture some of those cyclic swings using the CYMO set to 5. If trading on the 1 minute is something that you want to pursue, okay? Now, I want you guys to watch something really interesting, okay? Keep your eye on this arrow here that just went down, okay? Rather than taking these little reversals to the downside, what we're going to do is we're going to bring this bad boy back right here, okay? We're going to watch it for a little bit, and we're going to wait to take any type of reversal trade to the downside until we actually get the orange line to cross below zero, and if it falls below the region-wide threshold, then we'll consider taking a trade to the downside at that moment, okay? Let me pause it and see if I can bump it up to about 8. This way it's a little bit quicker on the 5 minute, and then I'll slow it down when we get back to the 1 minute. No cigar. It's still up here, okay? Which means that the market bias is still to the upside. This is all this means right here, okay? Market bias is still to the upside. Now, if you're trading the 5 minute, yeah, you're going to hold on to this until you actually get a crossing below the zero line by your red signal on your orange line right here. But that's not the case right now. Right now, we're looking at signals from the 5 to take him and execute him on the 1. Now, if you were taking this trade to the upside, okay, your entry would have been right there, and your exit's going to happen whenever the orange line comes down below zero. And this would be your exit point from this trade to the upside right there on your 5 minute time frame. Now, I want you to see something that's that I think is kind of interesting, because just a second ago I told you guys keep an eye on this arrow to the downside, because you had a little bit of a pullback right there. Okay, now you chase this pullback, you would have gotten sucker punched. Okay, because look at how cyclic the market became after this 2-bar pullback. It just immediately slinkied back, went up, went sideways, and just kind of drifted in this sideways pattern for a while before it started a continuation to the upside, okay? This is why I typically don't like chasing these reversals just off of the 1 minute time frame, because when you look at your 5 minute here, it's telling you that market structure is still going up. So this 2-bar pullback is just that. It's a breather, guys, in the market. And if you can't spot that, you're going to be enticed thinking that the market's going to pull back, when in reality, it's only taking a 2-bar step back, and then it's going to run back in the same way it was going, and that's up. Okay, and you can see that here clearly on the 5 minute. There was no crossing to the downside up until this bar right here. And that's important, because you don't want to be taking these pullbacks if they're not really going to run in your favor. So let's go ahead and keep playing this, because what we're looking for now on the 5 minute is a crossing below the zero line, which we already got here, but we're looking for a crossing below this threshold. The moment this orange line crosses below this threshold, we'll pause, we'll look at our 1 minute chart for a potential entry. And you can tell that price here is already exhausted itself right there. Okay, guys, here it is. We just got the crossing right there. So the next thing we want to do is we want to flip this bad boy over here. Let me just get this out of the way, okay, and see where we're at. And this isn't bad right here, okay? It's right below the zero line. It just broke the inflection point. You've got momentum also falling over here. So you got a couple of things going in your favor. Now I'm going to bump this down to 4 times the speed of the market. Otherwise, this thing's just going to take off on me. This is a short signal right there. And that short signal can be taken up until the time this orange line here crosses above the zero line. And then at that time, you can just go ahead and clip the trade, call it a day, and be done. Okay, and it looks like we've got cycle 1 right here, okay? You got the beginning of cycle number 2 right here, okay, going to the downside. And keep an eye on this bad boy right here, because the moment it goes above the zero line, you are done with that trade. Win, lose, or draw, you blow out of that and you're done. Okay, right there, okay? Nothing in that trade. It didn't really move as quick as we wanted to, and you're done, okay? This was probably a scratch from 845 all the way to 851, so about 6-point scratch, and you're done. Okay, there's nothing else. Now, if you want to use the cycle indicator to really capture some of the real tight cycles that are happening here. Let me show you how to use that, okay? We're going to focus on CYMO. We're going to put the 5 minute aside for now, and we're just going to do a lot of little cycle trades here on the 1 minute using CYMO set to 5. Okay, and we've got momentum rising. We've got cycle all the way down here. We've got your predictor above the 0 line right there. I wouldn't mind taking a trade to the long side right there. Let's see where that goes. Alrighty, guys, there is nothing there at all from what I can see. Cycle 1, this was like a very, very, very tight move that really didn't move as expected.
Order filled.
Done. Out of there. And you've got another cycle right here going up, and you've got momentum right here a little bit on the downside. Let's see what happens on the next bar. Oh, yeah, momentum is definitely not going up with cycle right there.
Order filled.
Take that to the short side. We've got cycle coming down, and momentum is below 0 and pulling everything downward. And we just got a crossing here as well. So momentum is down here. So it looks like we've got a little bit of a trend to the downside right here. So you start counting your cycles. Cycle 1, cycle 2 right here. You typically have 2 cycle rotations in the same direction of the move on any typical trade. So cycle 1, cycle 2. If that's the end of cycle 2, guys, I don't mind taking my trade off right there, calling it a day for a nice clip. That was 847 to 818. That was a very nice trade to the downside right there. Kind of made up for, you know, the small little scratch that we had over here. Okay, here we go.
Order filled.
Okay, we've got cycle up, momentum up. We've got PredictMO going up as well. You got your inflection point pivot right there. And you're all the way down here at the bottom of the VWAP. And these are some of my favorite trades to take. I think I've told you guys before. And you can see how responsive this tool is at a setting of 5 right here, guys. Okay, and here we go. We got nice little pull with momentum right there, followed by cycle. And you can tell right here how cycle just took off, you know, boom, all the way to the upside on the 1 minute time frame. You're all the way up on top of your VWAP. You just had cycle 1. Now that momentum poked its head up over here. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm out of that trade, okay? And I'm out because I saw PredictMO right here cross below 0, and I'm like, okay, well, that's enough. 825 to 863, that's a very nice trade. I also saw momentum falling right here, and I'm like, oh, that's probably going to be it. You know, the moment momentum begins to wane, then that's it. All right, guys, so here we go again. It looks like we've got momentum tilting up, cycle above the threshold over here, and that might be
order filled.
Another long. And that could be a nice little clip if you were like super risk averse. Moment it hits right here, you could just clip it and, you know, make your 20 points and be done with the trade. I see that momentum is rising. I see cycle over here, kind of flattish at the bottom. So I'm kind of wondering if we're going to get an uptick here and PredictMO to really push this up, and if this is really going to go up in the next tick. So we got a few seconds here to go. Oh yeah, right there. There we go. Now remember, guys, the settings I've got here for PredictMO are designed to capture the wider swing in price. You can certainly set this to capture a lot of this cyclic rotation that you see here on the chart. I prefer to see CYMO capture that because it does a really good job, and have PredictMO capture the longer swings in price if I'm looking at the 5 minute for higher probability trades. These are all just like little scalps that you can take in the process. And if you can tell, momentum is not following, so there's no sine wave formations right here, which means that momentum is the dominant signal over here, okay? And it looks like momentum is tilting up right here. I'm curious to know if it's going to bust up or if it's going to turn down right there. Okay, right there. I'm out.
Order filled.
And that was another nice trade from 867 to 882. And I can really go on all afternoon with this like this, guys. Just kind of, you know, clipping pieces of the spectrum with CYMO set to 5. It's really sharp at capturing a lot of these nice, tight cyclic turns. This is telling you that price is going to move up right there. You've got momentum going down a little bit. If it tilts up, then this might be another run up in price. You're inside the region-wide threshold right here, which is always super, super tight in terms of its moves. Got cycle down, momentum down. It's probably better for me to just kind of show you the whole thing instead of just kind of waiting tick by tick. So hang on. Let me go ahead and pause it and then bring it all the way till 12 noon. It'll erase some of the trades I did, but it's probably easier for me to just kind of illustrate this to you. The cycle goes up, momentum follows, cycle 1, cycle 2, right here at the end. Momentum drops, okay? And then cycle comes down. It's all the way to the bottom. You've got another cycle, which perfectly nails the bottom here. You see momentum ramping up right here. Cycle 1, cycle 2. This even had a third cycle, which ended right here, okay? And it continues this way throughout the whole entire session, guys, okay? Here we go. Cycle 1, cycle 2. Look at this. Perfect, right there. Goes up, okay? And this would be the beginning of cycle number 1. You've got cycle 2 right there at the end. And this goes on the entire day at a setting of 5, okay? So the reason I'm illustrating this, guys, is because there's 2 ways to look at the 1-minute chart. And this is really super important. This really kind of trickles down to trader style. If you're like me, okay, and you guys who have known me already now for a good while, who have been with us, who have heard me time and again come on here and sound like a broken record, you guys know that I love swing trades. I love trades that actually have a lot of meat on the bone, okay? Which is why I enjoy looking at the 5-minute chart to kind of gauge where price is potentially gonna break out. Is it a perfect way of looking at it? Nothing's perfect in trading, guys. There's no holy grail. But does it give me a competitive advantage and does it give me a statistical edge? Absolutely. And that's why I share it with you guys, okay? All these trades that we just went through right now, these little cycle trades that I was clipping on the 1-minute chart, they all fall in here. Okay? And I came here Thursday to show you this because you can see the difference now in what you're looking at on the 1-minute chart. Look at the orange line and look at price as represented by the green line right here. They're all inside the region-wide threshold. Now, none of this here is tradable here on the 5-minute chart, but it's absolutely visible on your 1-minute chart right here by way of cycles, okay? And this is what I mean by cycles. Whenever price is inside the VWAP, and it's trading within a tight range like this, it's kind of hitting these levels. You see how it hits, just kind of rolls back, it hits, rolls back, it hits the top, kind of rolls back. It's trading in a tight channel. A lot of people say range bound. A lot of people call it consolidation. Call it what you would, okay? The fact is that price is cycling in a very tight range. Now, again, let me take 2 steps back. You cannot trade this on the 5-minute chart. So again, let me just bring this back to illustrate that to you, okay? This whole time that the price has been cycling on the 1-minute chart that I was using CYMO to clip these trades, this is what we're trading right here, guys. All this. This is untradeable on the 5-minute chart, but it's tradable here on the 1-minute chart if you use a tool like CYMO set to 5. Why? Because at a setting of 5, what you're telling the algorithm is, I want you to capture the short cyclic swings in price. Okay? And we know that there's 2 types of cycles within the spectrum when you're looking to measure tight, short cyclic swings in price. Okay? You've got your regular cycles, and then you've got your cycles that turn into longer cycles, which we kind of call mini trends here on the 1-minute with the CYMO set to 5s. And here's one of them right here. Okay, this is cycle number 1. The reason we know this is cycle number 1 is because this is where price goes into a little bit of a mini trend right here. Then you've got cycle number 2. Cycles are always measured in the same direction of the price move, and they're 180 degrees, okay? This crossing right here of the 0 line is this bar right here. And after that, what happens? Price just goes sideways, guys, okay? So there's 2 aspects of the price cycle that you're tracking with CYMO set to 5. You're tracking regular cycles and you're tracking these little mini trends that appear here on the 1 minute chart. And that's what it's designed to do. For me, I'd rather take the longer swing in price, which is why I'm waiting for PredictMO to dip below the threshold on the 5 minute chart so I can come over here and use my PredictMO set to 60 to capture that wider swing in price, because I'd rather have a trade that's got a lot more meat on the bone than to sit here and start clipping every single move in price. Now, is there a benefit to doing one or the other? It really comes down to style, guys. At the end of the day, that's what it is. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a scalper and sitting here and clipping, these little cycles all day long. The problem is, and I'll tell you what the truth of what the problem is, and listen up, is that just like anything good, it becomes really addictive. Okay? And it's just like being a gambler. You go to the poker table, you play a good hand, you win some money, and then once you get a taste of it, you're like, shit, this is good. You start going back for more and more, then it becomes a real habit, okay? And long term, you end up getting burned out because, when you're sitting here and you're taking trade after trade after trade after trade, what happens is that the longer you expose yourself to the market and the more trades you take, the higher your propensity is to make mistakes and lose money. Why? Because it becomes a habit and you just want more and more and more of it, okay? It becomes very habit forming. So for that reason and a lot of other reasons, I rather trade the swing component of price where I can actually take, the nice 50, 60 point hits in one shot by themselves. But does this make money? Oh, absolutely. You can sit here and print money all day, with CYMO set to 5 and not even deal with PredictMO and just capture the price swing here. Now, this is not going to work when price goes into trend mode, okay? Which is why we have a whole complete process of doing the early onset of a trend detection that we've done through the whole elephant hunting video series, okay? This is good if you want to clip price. And if you want to take price when it actually runs on you on the 5 minute time frame, okay? So 2 different approaches, guys, okay, using the same set of tools. It really depends on yourself as a trader, what you're looking to capture in the swing in price at the end of the day. So that's really what it boils down. So here's what I got for you, okay? For our subscribers, pull up your 5 minute chart, draw the region-wide threshold, apply PredictMO. And by the way, I've got mine set to 36, and that's the orange line to 36. And I want you to note when price exits the threshold with slope confirmation. That's important. And then drop here to your 1 minute chart. At CYMO, mark your entry points based on cycle alignment, okay? Just kind of run this from the open till about 12 noon, okay? The reason why I want you to do this is because confidence is built in the charts and in the process of practicing, not just on the screen, okay, guys? This is for you. And I think it's important because you want to develop that skill. But just keep in mind, because I know I emphasize this a lot, okay? When you look at your charts and you set your settings on here, what is it that I'm looking to capture in the swing in price? That should be the most pressing question that you ask yourself. And of course, it has to align with your internal bias as well. Because if you're a swing trader like myself, then you're not going to sit here with CYMO set to 5 trying to clip every single move that you see that's going in the direction that you hope, right? You're just going to wait and look for the longer setups here on the 5 minute chart, okay? And you're not going to trade any of this, okay? This, by a lot of people's accounts, it's considered noise. Does it make money? Yeah, but you got to drop down to a 1 minute chart or even a 30-second chart to capture a lot of these swings here, okay? Not on the 5 minute chart. What this represents on the 5 minute chart right here is noise for a guy like me, okay, who's looking for something that's a little bit wider in its swing, okay? So keep that in mind in the process of what you're doing with your trades, guys. I think it's important. It's just a very good perspective to have in mind. And guys, also for everybody else who's listening, if you're still trading by feel, using outdated theories or chasing every candle, consider this sort of like your wake-up call, okay? Outsmart the chop. Don't get chopped. That's the name of the game. Move beyond guessing and trade with structure and consistency. This tool set, guys, isn't a luxury. It's a must-have in today's market. And you're welcome to try it free of charge for 7 days. Just click the link in the bio and take this bad boy for a test drive. You'll plug in PredictMO, CYMO, ScalpMO, all the tools, okay, into your chart, and you'll see what trading with clarity is really all about, okay? And if you have any questions so far, just drop them in the comment box. I'm more than happy to answer them for you.